You know, I've gone out with my father on many wild boar control operations, and he always told me one thing. When they start appearing on the road, it's no longer just a farm problem. An adult wild boar can weigh hundreds of pounds. If one suddenly appears on the road in the middle of the night, it can easily cause a serious accident. In states like Texas or Florida, this is far from rare. The next morning, I follow my father to meet with a group of farmers and a control team. Everyone quickly pointed out hot spots on the map. Places where the soil had been torn up, areas where the herd often appeared, and the crossings where they most frequently cut across the road. The plan was divided into 2 directions. I went with my father. We set up trap number 6 along narrow trails, the kind of paths the herd had no choice but to use if they wanted to move toward the residential area.
All right, so we got our,
Meanwhile, the other team was setting up the corral trap. This was the main point of the operation. If trap number 6 served as the blocking layer, then the corral trap was where the circle would close. The goal was to capture the entire herd. We started spreading bait in layers, from the outside moving inward, allowing the herd to approach in the most natural rhythm possible. The first night, the cameras only recorded them standing outside, sniffing. The second night, a few smaller pigs stepped inside. In the nights that followed, the whole herd slowly grew accustomed to the place. Their appetite pulled them deeper and deeper into the trap. Then a most tense moment finally arrived. The gate closed. In just a second, the entire atmosphere changed. Inside the trap, the herd immediately compressed together, circling and shifting directions again and again within the confined space. Large bodies struck the steel frame, trying every possible way to find escape. The sound wasn't sharp or piercing, but it was heavy and constant, enough to make my heart pound faster. But my father remained calm. He didn't look at the boars first. He looked at the structure of the trap, every joint, every load-bearing corner. Then he said quietly, "Now, this is the important part." I immediately understood what he meant. If something failed at this moment, every calculation we had made before would become meaningless. Inside, the herd continued to surge from one corner to another. But the trap held. No animal escaped. No movement spread outward. All the pressure remained contained exactly within the control boundary. And in that moment, I finally understood how clear my father's plan had been all along. If you can hold them, you protect everything out. Not long after, the other trap positions around the outer ring also reported good results. Any individuals that might have broken away or moved along different paths had already been blocked to the right routes. The entire team stayed in position, moving only according to their roles. No one did anything outside the plan we had agreed on from the beginning. And that was exactly why everything reached its final stage smoothly. 1 week later, the results became obvious. No more herds cutting across the road at night. No fresh tracks near the residential areas. The cameras around the region had grown noticeably quieter. People started sleeping better. The night roads felt a little safer. On the way home, my father said something I will probably remember for the rest of my life. You don't have to do the biggest thing. You just have to do it right. I didn't answer, but I understood. Because this was never a hunting story. This is how people maintain the line between safety and chaos. If you're interested in how Americans control wild boars to protect farms and community safety, follow the channel. I'll continue sharing stories from the field, where calm thinking and the right plan always matter more than rushed reactions.
Yep. Come on. Yep. Tunnel of love. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Yep. Yep.
What would you do if a single night could wipe out an entire harvest? For American farmers, traps are often the last line between control and total loss. Wild boars don't just pass through. They return in herds, on schedule, night after night, almost by routine. They don't cause damage because they eat too much, but because of what happens when they root the soil. In just minutes, topsoil is overturned, roots are torn loose, and irrigation systems can be damaged along the way. Agricultural losses in the US are estimated at around $2 to $2.5 billion per year, and many total crop failures begin with what looks like minor rooting damage. A single herd of 10 to 20 boars can destroy more than 1 hectare in one night, right when crops are reaching maturity. At that point, this is no longer a natural risk. It becomes a livelihood problem farmers are forced to confront. Facing that threat, many ask the same question. Is there a way to stop wild boars while remaining safe, humane, and environmentally responsible? The answer lies in modern trapping systems. Contrary to popular belief, today's traps are not designed to harm wildlife. They are built to control intrusion safely, reduce direct conflict between humans and boars, and comply with local ecological management regulations. Their evolution reflects a clear goal, not elimination, but behavior guidance, protecting crops while maintaining balance between agriculture and nature. The effectiveness of these systems becomes clear night after night. Farmers no longer need to stay on constant watch. Instead, they can monitor, assess, and adjust control measures proactively. Fields gradually stabilize. Damage is contained. More importantly, people regain control over protecting the results of their labor. Calmly, deliberately, and with a plan. In many places, farmers don't see wild boars as enemies. They understand these animals are part of the natural world. But when survival boundaries are crossed, finding a balanced solution becomes necessary. Used correctly, traps serve as a middle ground, protecting crops, reducing conflict, and preventing more serious consequences down the line. Sometimes, it's even shared casually in conversation. Since we set the traps, the boars haven't come back, and I've been sleeping better too.
Welcome.
For farmers, wild boars aren't just a wild image deep in the forest. They can become a direct threat to crops, income, and an entire year of work. Wild boar control isn't an extreme measure. It's a necessary choice when survival boundaries blur. When traps are used properly, they aren't meant to remove nature, but to preserve balance between people and the land. And sometimes, it's a single timely decision, quiet, measured, without confrontation, that saves the entire harvest.
Here he goes, here he goes, here he goes, here he goes, here he goes. There you go.
The clash of steel tore through the night. Dust rose in thick clouds. Dozens of muscular bodies hurled themselves violently against solid iron walls. This wasn't an action movie. It was the chilling scene I witnessed firsthand when our massive corral trap system dropped into place. A haunting night, born from a desperate call for help.
Get it over.
A few days earlier, Uncle John, a longtime rancher on the edge of the forest, called me, his voice shaking. When I arrived, his beloved orchard looked like a battlefield. Soil overturned, fruit tree trunks shredded and chewed apart. He sighed and pointed toward the dense tree line, as if to say the real nightmare had only just begun. Wild boars, savage, cunning creatures. When their numbers spiral out of control, they stop being just part of nature and become a direct threat to crops and to the safety of forest edge communities. We knew the small traditional cage traps were useless against a herd like this. To manage the population effectively and humanely, we had to make a bigger move. 3 heavy-duty steel corral trap systems were urgently deployed at forest edge hotspots. The team worked relentlessly through the afternoon. Panel by panel, we assembled the massive fencing into a sealed circle. And most critical of all, installing the giant drop gates connected directly to infrared cameras for remote control. But the real secret weapon sat in the center, an automatic feeder. We programmed it to scatter corn at the exact hours the boars usually pick. The whirring sound of kernels pouring out would create a conditioned response, lowering their guard. It would draw their focus to the pile of food and away from any danger around them. 2 massive trapdoors hung, suspended, waiting for the signal from my finger. "2 a.m. The forest wind cut through the cold. Inside our vehicle, parked hundreds of meters away, we held our breath, eyes locked on the phone screen. From the pitch-black brush, dark shapes began to emerge. 1, 3, then dozens of wild boars trudging silently into the circle to feed on the corn. The golden rule of this work, patience. Rush it, and you fail, and worse, you teach the herd to become smarter next time. You wait for the lead, sow, to step inside. You wait for the last one to cross the threshold. You wait until the entire herd is lost in feeding, completely unaware. When the tail of the final boar disappeared past the gate, trigger, both steel doors slammed down in an instant. The herd jolted in shock, but it was too late. They exploded into chaos, squealing, slamming against steel in desperation. It was suffocating and exhilarating all at once. A massive win in a single night. At dawn, we approached the trap. The sight was overwhelming. More than a dozen hardened wild boars, bristled hair, standing upright, eyes blazing with untamed fury. Razor-sharp tusks scraped against steel bars, standing before them. You realize how small humans are compared to raw, primal strength. We backed a specialized transport trailer up to the trap door. A steel chute was secured, connecting the trap directly to the truck bed. This was the most dangerous moment. One careless move, and a charging boar could shatter a leg. Using shields, we guided them one by one. The truck trembled under the weight of hundreds of kilos of wild muscle. Professional wildlife control isn't just about capture. It's about safe, efficient handling and transport, protecting both people and surrounding livestock.
Hip, 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 hip. Hip, 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 hip. Come on. Hip, hip. Hip, 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 hip. Come on. Hip. Hip, hip. Don't you come at me. Come on now. Hip.
When it was all done, the herd was gone. Morning sunlight filtered through the leaves, washing away the cold darkness of the night before. We packed up our gear. The newest ranger rolled forward, leaving behind the quiet peace of the forest once more. The battle to protect harvests is never easy, but with technique and patience, people can still find ways to live alongside and responsibly manage the forces of nature. A long night had ended, and today would be a peaceful one for Uncle John and for the farmers who call this place home.
Oh, you the bomb, come on.